So I'm just gonna I got back on Sunday from going to Calgary, so I got to the hotel on Thursday, and then Jesse and I went down to the football game uh, game between the Stampeders and the BC Lions, and yeah, it was quite the game. But it was wet. It was wet though, because it rained for the first hour, but then it kind of got then it just went away, and of course, yeah, it was a small miracle that my camera, was able to hold up for like while I was taking film, and yeah, so I'm kind of anyways, like, at the end of the first half, like, the Stampeders had a 5 point lead, but then they kind of people were like all the players were like slipping and sliding on the turf, and they were making a lot of dodgy plays, and you know, I guess like there was supposed to be a game-winning touchdown in the closing seconds of the fourth quarter, but it was intercepted by the line, by the one by one of the Lions' defensive linebackers or whatever. Yeah, and yeah, and then when there's less than 30 seconds left, and then the referee decides to call it a game, and so and just it was very disappointing, but glad I got to go. So then went down on Friday. Went down to Cobb's Farm, just in the east edge of Calgary. Yeah, got to see a bunch of marsupial species, wallaroos, which is a wallaby wall, wallaby kangaroo hybrid. Yeah, and then there was a peacock there, and got to see it fan out its feathers, and yeah, then I got to pet a porcupine, a sloth, and even got to hold a little kangaroo. Of course, when it was actually they would call it a joey, which is the baby. Yeah, and I guess like the joeys get you know, kicked out of the pouch when they're like about 8 months old at most. Like they give them such weird nicknames and all that. So, yeah, got to yeah. There's a lot of exotic animals in that petting zoo. Yeah, of course it was of course it was wet. It was wet, and yeah, and the pens were very muddy and boggy and sticky, and yeah, but at the end of that game, at the end of that, everyone was just tired, and we just needed we just need of course, like about quarter after eight that night, I crashed on my bed, and just yeah, really it really did. Yeah, like I was tired. And on Saturday, went to the zoo for the majority of that time, and then we went and then went down to my ex former proprietor, her sister, to celebrate her new individual's birthday. Of course, I didn't get him anything, but you know we're kind of but everyone was tired, and just everyone was good. Everyone was like like he kind of does, but you know like and all in all, it was such a good trip, and I would do another one again, and just kind of, yeah, just the new guy just, I think he's had Down syndrome, but I also think he could also be autistic because he taps on things or just hits things to like or whatever, makes noise just because I think it's a stim for him, and that's quite often like autistic, and like you know, uh, and then you know, on all things like I think a lot, I'm just like a lot of things just kind of like never today things start to reveal themselves to me, and it really he show he kind of reveal kind of shows that you know I mean, but only certain people are sacred. Like those who have the marks on their hands are known as the sacred, because there's Christians and then there's sacred Christians, and sacred are the ones that they were set apart or by God to, and they were planted it with something in their heads, and it really, yeah, like it does a lot of it does do a lot of different things, and like when you're, but I mean, like sometimes we just have to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, but for me, like I know there's a lot of people don't understand. I mean, it was said that you stop explaining yourself when you realize only certain that people only understand from their perception. And Dr. Phil said there is no such thing as reality. It's all about perception. And that's where you gotta learn. I got that's where we gotta learn to look at things that filter our visions and how we see things, and you know but so at some point in time I'm gonna find that if I can I order that Ethiopian Bible, and then I would be able to find the answers to the, yeah, because the sacred Christians are always looking for it, but our Bibles are not complete. They don't have the 22 missing texts. Like, well, when I if I can, I would get that one ordered to my door. And but, yeah, another thing is that I've just kind of lost faith in this country myself. I'm gonna move this flag over a little bit, and so I can get a Alberta independence flag. And like like because there's a lot has been going down, and it's not, looking good, because I got, even though even though there are people out there standing against the liberal policies, it still doesn't help. It's like people are slowly starting to wake up, and you know, yeah, and Toronto's like has bottomed out and is the most hated city in this country. Like quality of life is quality of life, crime, safety, and all that. Toronto has basically bottomed out, and Red Deer's now one of the most hated cities to live in, and like, and that's just in terms of having the highest crime severity index in the province. I mean, yeah, like, yeah, like, You know, people know people don't tend. People need to learn to think twice before opposing in in certain things like. And I don't I don't think people. There are people who should be saved from themselves, and I mean, the greatest enemy, the closest mirror always reveals the enemy that's staring at you. I mean, we're all our own worst enemies. Civil disclosure's just gone out the window, and just you know, like, yeah, both left and right are basically hating each other. So that's just all I can say about it. So, anyways, I've said enough. So I'm gonna I'm back in Red Deer, and yeah, anymore I just do live streams from my laptop when I'm doing a vlog and all that. So I'm also planning to uh, spend a couple weeks with my mom, and after I meet my psychiatrist, and then I'll probably spend Thanksgiving with my dad because can't spend it with my mom right now because it won't work because they got had an appointment in on the 9th. So yeah, so that would that would actually be good. So anyways, I'm gonna I'm gonna go here, and I'll I'll see you in the next vlog. Thank you. Bye.